o'clock somewhere, right?
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. I call this continuation meeting to order. Better you not know. Plausible deniability.
Now I want to know.
Of the May 2nd meeting, the continuation, first item on the agenda is budget request from the Scottish Heart Museum. We've got Miss Janet Green. Step forward, young lady, and tell us what you want.
Well, for one thing, I'm here to save you money. I read in the paper where you were wanting to give us $46,000.
$46,000.
And boy, am I going to give you a bargain.
Make that up.
I'm trying to help them out.
Or we're going to write a check to you for the difference.
I know that you realize that our museums on Main Street are very important to the economy of the town. And I hope you've seen in the press and maybe other places the articles by Aldermen on the names, the surnames of the local folks in this area. He's going to continue to do those articles. Probably will have some of your names in there in the future, showing your family history and how it relates to Scotland. I also wanted to let you know that the Scottish Heart Museum is planning to have the Taste of Scotland again on Father's Day weekend. And on that Friday, June 17th, we're going to be hosting a reception at the museum from 3 to 5 p.m. with the host or the guest host that we have asked to come in for that Father's Day weekend Taste of Scotland. And we are inviting all the town aldermen and the commissioners and everybody to come and meet this man. This is Darren Burgess, who is the Second Secretary for Scottish Affairs with the British Embassy in Washington, and he's going to be coming down to lead off the, head out the Taste of Scotland this year. It would be a great opportunity to meet this man who has a great deal of influence with the government in Scotland. So we're very pleased to be having him come to be a part of that. And you'll be reading more about that in the paper. What I wanted to ask about was that we have, with the downturn in the economy, the museum has its own gift shop, and it's operated it for some time and has done very well with it. The expenses, the total expenses of the museum run around $314,000, and they typically meet their expenses through their gift shop. However, in this economy and the downturn, with fewer folks walking in on the street and fewer website sales, they do a lot of sales through the website. They have not been able to meet their budget this last year, and we were looking and brainstorming ways we could work on that and lower the expenses. And one of the ways we could do that would be to pay off our t-shirt machine. We print t-shirts for sale in the museum. We print them for the Klan societies. They make a good source of income for the museum. And so that's what we came to ask for help in paying that off. I got the final figures on that, Sam. It was $14,502 is the payoff total. But we're asking the town for whatever it was. I don't remember. It's not $46,000. So
$46.80.
Yeah, $46.80, and I wrote down $48.60 on my paper here, so I've transposed the numbers. But
Your advantage.
yes, that's right. But if you could help us with that this budget year, and then help us again in the next budget year with that, and then we would pay a third of that, so that would pay off our machine. And get that bill every month out of our expenses. we've had some other help. We're getting some lower rent. We've got other things that we're working on that are going to help us, but we're asking the town to help us in some way too. And it helps the museum. In the museum, those total expenses, only $51,000 is for salaries. We employ 3 people. One of them is a curator who is one of the finest folks. You know Matt Newsom, you've seen him in the paper, you know what a good job he's doing. And for that much money, we employ 3 people and keep that museum open and running with the volunteers and those folks. So I think they do a good job with the books over there, and they keep the business end of it working well, but they need some help, and they need to know that the town is behind them in this.
Do they feel like that they'll see, your wood shop's gonna pick up any, like they notice anything different in the website or anything?
We're hoping to get, usually the Taste of Scotland is a good weekend for us. We do an awful lot of sales through that. We do a lot of sales right after that because people who come here then will come back to the website and purchase. So we're hoping that it will pick up. We're not seeing a lot of it.
Generally speaking, where does the rest of the money go in the budget?
It goes to rent, it goes to utilities, to insurance and taxes, sales taxes, and then to pay for their merchandise. They pay about almost $200,000 in merchandise, buying merchandise from the museum.
That's a lot of time.
Yeah, they sell, and then they sell, I don't know if included in that merchandise is, they usually take on order the kilts that they sell, so I don't think that's included in there. But they don't make them money, but they typically pay their bills, but right now they're struggling.
Procedurally, where are we at? Is the public working place that we can actually take action?
Jim's got the application basically filled out, but there's still a couple of support documents that are supposed to come over tomorrow.
Yeah, I didn't know, and I don't have I did have a copy of a piece of the budget, which I've got here, but the copy of the annual board meeting minutes, they're coming over in the morning. I didn't have that.
But what you're short of, you can get in quick time.
Yeah, it's coming in the morning.
In the 4680, Sam, that was some surpluses from a...
Well, basically, we've got 4,900 left in the community pool money, about an equivalent amount unspent for the Historical Society Museum. So there's 2 sources of funds that otherwise will lapse in this year.
Question, how much have we given the other museums?
Well, the Historical Museum bought a new heating and air system, and when they applied for the use of their funds, and that's about an equivalent amount. And then there was another small grant that they came in with that to do some repairs on the windows, and that was all that went in there, a little over $5,000.
I think that was the shell, behind the glass.
So it had some sort of water damage or something. I'm not exactly sure what it was, but those were the 2 things we paid out to the museum.
What I'm leaning towards, in the museum, in this coming budget year, is that we give the legitimate museums, which I think we've got, historical, art museum, what other museum?
The gym.
Gym, that we give them all the same, to be fair.
I put it in the budget message that one of the things that I'm asking the board to do is, as soon as possible in the new fiscal year, is to have a work session devoted on those issues about funding pool, the museums, other agencies, town policies as they overlap on things, and just sort it all out. Yeah, the money is, to digress, the money is in there, the same funding level for this year.
But really what is before us this evening is a request, once it becomes the paperwork, I's get dotted and T's get crossed, for $4,680, of which we do have it in our budget, not even having to take any that was earmarked for another museum.
It's in the residual for the community.
That's yeah, I mean, that's basically where we're at for purposes of this request.
Well, what she's asking for here is 9,300 and something, you know, in 2 installments, but it all totals up to the same amount.
Well, I think that I wouldn't bother me to limit it to what we have on the hand, the 4680, for this discussion, knowing that we're going into our budget year for next year, and certainly not saying no, but right now, I think the best we can do is what we have in this budget.
Well, I would certainly lobby for all the museums. I mean,
Yeah.
as a merchant on Main Street, we need those museums open because they draw people into town, they keep people down here. The festivals are very important. And so it's just important to all of us that we keep those museums going.
I make a motion, then, Mr. Mayor, that we go for 4680 for one time for this year.
And that would be directed towards paying down the note,
Right.
presumably, for the T-shirt,
Right.
as opposed to day-to-day operation.
Right.
We need to put that in, insert that in.
I think it,
That's what the request is.
Is that, okay, it's in the request.
It's for
okay.
that.
May I make a modification here?
Yes, you may.
Pending upon approval of the paperwork that this meets public service, public purpose.
in that decision, and
Yeah, absolutely.
you could make that decision with this.
Right, now we'll do it again.
Right, if necessary to do so. So pending appropriate paperwork, proper purpose, you're moving to allocate $4,680 from the current budget, which is in the budget, for use towards the payoff of the T-shirt machine.
Right. Yes.
There is a further discussion. All in favor, raise your hand. That passes without objection.
Thank you, I appreciate it. And if there's anything that you end up missing, call me next week, I'm on vacation.
Yeah.
That reminds
We
me,
won't tell anybody we're
we
here.
do need to have it in minutes that you excuse Alderman Mashburn because he's on vacation.
Alderman Mashburn has the nerve to schedule a vacation with his wife who just retired from 30 years. I think at Jekyll Island or some point south of Warren. Motion we excuse him from the meeting.
Motion to be excused.
Second. Bob, you second that?
Oh, yeah.
All in favor, raise your hand. Okay. Point eight, that seems to be the dumbest rule, but I guess there's a reason why. It came up somewhere that it was there.
That they should come back later and say,
Yeah.
I wasn't for it.
Or it's something to do with votes. I don't know what it is. If you're not excused, it's
If you're not
considered
excused, then
a
the vote
vote.
that you have to count the phantom vote.
As an aye,
As an
thank
aye.
you.
Yeah.
What's the phantom vote?
The phantom vote.
She had the same look on her face.
The Billy Mashburn vote of tonight.
If you vote excused,
He'd
you
be
gotta
okay.
count his vote.
And
Always in the aye.
In the affirmative, I believe.
If you don't vote, it's always a yes vote.
oh,
So that
Thank
tells you
you.
how you
If you
fashion,
look, we've learned.
that tells you how you fashion the motion if you've got somebody in that
If you
position.
don't vote, you have to have a yes vote.
Appoint agents from the Center for Municipal Solutions as advisors for the proposed cell tower on Gaston Street. Mike Brugman, I hope you know something about this.